I used to carry around a couple of different notebooks that were the A6 size to try to keep myself organized in terms of my analog life. But ever since I picked up the Roter Faden Taschenbegleiter, the WK12 version from JetPens and a couple of different places that you can get it from, it's changed my life. It's been such a great tool. It's part of my everyday carry, and I use a couple of different notebooks in this particular notebook cover. It fits perfectly, and I just love carrying it around. So let's take a closer look at it. So this is a great leather notebook cover. You can see here the approximate size of it. It's meant for A6 notebooks. It's about 155, maybe 160 centimeters, or I'm sorry, 15-ish centimeters in length, and then it's maybe about 12 centimeters width. So it's going to fit your A6 notebooks pretty easily. When you open this up, you'll notice here you've got a couple of different sort of sleeves, right? So you've got a sleeve here on the top and bottom on the left-hand side, and you got one larger sleeve here on the right inside. And you'll notice too, this right here is a really nice suede leather, by the way. It's really nice and soft, very supple. It's just wonderful. And you've got two sets of clips here. So these clips are spring-loaded, so they sort of open up there. And here you can open up all four of those. And then what you can do is you can put a couple of notebooks in here, right? So it's meant for two notebooks to attach relatively securely. So what I'll do here is I'll grab the first one. I got a Field Notes notebook. So I'll put that in here on the left-hand side for the first one. And just close the clip on there. And then I'll grab another one, which is my workout log. And this one's a Lamy. It's a booklet. So let me go to the middle of that one. I'll go ahead and close those in there too. Okay. So you can see it's a pretty decent fit with those particular notebooks. Kind of goes right to the edge there almost. As far as the fit of this notebook, but the other one, the Field Notes notebook, kind of is a little bit smaller, so that one will fit, really nicely as far as this leather notebook cover. Now, it does have a couple of elastic loops here too, and I think the way that this was intended was when you have these and you want to keep these shut, then you can just put something like a thin pencil right there between the two, and that will sort of keep it shut, right? Because it doesn't have an elastic band that goes around or anything like that. Now, that said, this company does make a couple of different versions of this Taschenbegleiter, and it does in fact have some of them that have an elastic band that goes all the way around, and they've got different size clips, different size notebook covers. This one right here is specifically for the A6, but they also have ones that are meant for the A5, which is pretty handy. But again, this right here closes with those elastic loops there, and then you can see on the back here too, it's got the logo right on there. You can see that here, Roter Faden Taschenbegleiter. Roter Faden means red thread, by the way, so a lot of their notebooks have red threading in them, and then 100% made in Germany. As I said, you can pick this up from a couple of different stores. So there's jetpens.com. There's also Nomado store, which is Europe-based. I believe they're in Belgium. And of course from roterfaden.de, which is the online shop that's in Germany. All right, so that's a couple of notebooks that I put in here. And like I said, you got a couple of sleeves that you can use for things like either cash or maybe credit card ID, whatever you want. I got a couple of business cards. These right here are just a couple of cards that I had for photography sort of brand that I was trying to build out. So you can see this is Chicago here, and I got a couple of different versions of it. Anyway, so business cards fit here really nice and easily. If you're a person who goes to the library, you can fit a library card in here nicely too. So those fit great. And then on the back sleeve here too, sometimes I'll just put in like a couple of different scraps of paper. I've got this to-do list. This is one from Gemund, so I'll put that in here just as to have a little to-do list and carry that around. All right, so that's really the kind of main features of this particular notebook cover, which I wanted to show you. The way that I use it is a little bit different though. I don't keep these smaller notebooks in here. I actually use a little bit of a different system. So let me just pull these out and I'll show you the ones that I actually do use. All right, the ones that I use are the Paper Republic. So Paper Republic is a company that you may have heard of. They also make really nice leather covers. I believe they're called Voyagers, and a couple of other versions of different sizes, and they also have different configurations for storing things on the inside of the cover. But the Paper Republic, you can see this one's a little bit thicker, right? So it's not as thin as the other two I just showed you. And when that's the case, when you have a thicker notebook like that, what I like to do is I like to go towards the back of the one that I'm going to put in the front here, okay? And by the way, these are really nice planners. I'm going to walk through this one in a little bit more detail on a future video, probably the one for next week. But anyway, I'll open this one up and kind of go towards the back, and that's where I'm going to clip this together, just so that it fits a little bit nicer. So this one I can close off there. So again, this is the Paper Republic planner. It's an A6 size, or pocket size as they call it here. It's weekend notes, which is great. And then I also have my pocket bullet journal. So this one's a little bit larger. This is one also branded by Bullet Journal. It's a Leuchtturm, technically. So this right here is a pocket bullet journal from Leuchtturm. So again, I go towards the front of this particular one. So back of the one in front, and then the front of the one in back. So I'll clip those together here. And you can see that those fit really nicely together, okay? So this is really more my daily driver. And by the way, you'll see that I've got a to-do list here, which is paper clip to the front cover of the bullet journal, the pocket bullet journal notebook. And that's because I don't want it to be on this front cover, because if I have the paper clips here on this front cover, what's going to happen is that it's going to make sort of an indent. I don't want to see any kind of indents on this leather. To me, I feel like that's not keeping it as nice and not keeping it as new. So that's why I like to have the to-do list on the inside of that inside cover there, right? So just try to remember to keep those away so that you don't make, sort of nasty indents and marks on your Taschenbegleiter. That's obviously not very desirable. All right, so then we have the back sleeve here. If you wanted to add one of those other notebooks, you can see there's two sets of clips, which means that there's two notebooks that you can fit in there. What I do is I'll just take this Field Notes notebook and I will put it in the back right there, and it fits perfectly. So now I've got my daily driver. So I've got my 3 notebooks. This is what I carry around. One of them is for planning. The other one is for sort of life logging and bullet journaling. And the other one is for sort of fleeting notes. So I'm going to walk through all those in a little bit more detail on a future video. But this is my daily driver. This is my everyday carry. And having this notebook is just really fantastic. I love carrying this around. I don't need to keep it closed. I don't really throw it into a sort of an open bag. So that's totally fine. But I really, really like this particular notebook setup. It's fantastic. So I'll share some links in the in the post as well. All right, so there you have it. There's a system that works for me. How do you use your daily driver? What do you carry around? Let me know in the comments. Next week I'm going to be doing a deep dive on how I actually use the Paper Republic planner, which I showed you briefly, along with the Bullet Journal Pocket Edition and the Field Notes notebook. You don't want to miss that, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.